Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the Daily Dose. This week on the Daily Dose, our theme has been almost Christian. Maybe that sounds like a strange title for a church message, but here's the deal. The theme comes from a book by Kendra Creasy Dean. The book is called Almost Christian: What the Faith of Our Teenagers is Telling the American Church. And in this book, Kendra talks about a 3-year study that was done all about teenagers and faith. And do you know what they found out about teenagers and faith in America today? They found out that for teenagers, faith, the church, religion, teenagers see all those things as nice, but unfortunately not a priority. And the faith that we're passing on to our teenagers, by and large, it's not surviving beyond their high school years here in America. You might ask, well, why is that? Well, here's what they suggest, is that the faith of those teenagers is a reflection of the faith of those of us adults who are in their lives. Sorry to depress you, but do you know what that means? That means there is something we can do about it. And so today what I want to talk to you about is how do we build a consequential faith, a faith that has traction in students' lives, but also the lives of those people we love, our friends, our neighbors, our family members. How do we build a consequential faith, a faith that has traction in this real world? Before we dive in, here's what I'd love for you to do. Would you help us get the word out? You can do that if you're watching on Facebook by sharing this post, by liking it. You could also help us feed kids in need right here in Douglas County by going and checking in on Facebook. We have a generous donor who donates $5 for every time you check in, and he donates those dollars to our Backpack Attack program. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe, check the bell so you get notifications. And lastly, if you're watching on cable access, would you tell somebody about the Daily Dose? Invite them to watch with you, especially if they have young people in their lives. In the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 16, there's this story about this rich young man. The rich young man comes to Jesus and asks him, "Teacher, what good thing must I do to get eternal life?" Let me read that again. "Teacher, what good thing must I do to get eternal life?" If you've ever raised teenagers or had grandkids who are teenagers and you care about the life of faith, you've likely asked yourself, what do I need to do to raise these kids in the faith? But the question that this rich young man is asking is a very different question, because he's a young man and he's actually asking this question from a young person's point of view, from a student's point of view, if you do. What this young man is asking Jesus is, what good thing can I get out of religion? What good thing could following you possibly give me? How is it going to help me achieve in life? How is it going to help me accomplish something? What's it going to give me? What am I going to get out of this, Jesus? You see, for this man and for us, if we're really honest, religion in America often has become this thing that's helpful only to the extent that it helps us succeed in life. Religion is all about us becoming a better person. It helps us get what we want. It helps us achieve in life. It helps us achieve the great American dream. It makes us really nice and really good people. Well, that young man asked Jesus, what good thing must I do to inherit eternal life? To which Jesus responds, and he actually disappoints this young man. You see, what Jesus does is he recognizes that this young man has been sold a message in his life. That his life is simply all about accumulation. It's all about achievement. It's all about his successes. It's all about his bank account. It's all about consuming. And so do you know what Jesus says to the young man? He says this: if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions, give them to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. then come and follow me. You see, I think Jesus is almost a little sarcastic there. What he knows is that young man has been sold a message that success is what makes him who he is. And intertwined in that is this belief that faith is simply one more tool to build his portfolio. And so Jesus says, go sell everything you have, then come and follow me. And of course, the young man, he's going to go away sad. Why? Because he, like us, he can't imagine it. He can't imagine selling everything because of the message he's been sold in his life. And that message is that you are what you accumulate. You are what you have. You are your character. You see, he can't imagine because he's been sold a different story of what gives his life value and worth. So here's what I want to wonder with you today as we wrap up this series, Almost Christian. How do we do it? How do we pass on a consequential faith to the next generation and to the people we love and care for? I want to suggest there are three things we can do. And the first is a posture. We can hold, when it comes to our faith, a posture of humility. A posture that resists a self-focused faith. A faith that is simply all about making us better, making me better. That's not simply about helping me become a better person, helping me achieve, helping me gain a higher status, helping me succeed in life. You see, the first thing we can do when it comes to our faith is take a posture of humility. I think the second thing we can do when it comes to passing on the faith is we can rekindle. We can rekindle for those around us what those earliest followers understood themselves to be as people of faith. They understood themselves to be sent into the world as instruments of God's love. What's that mean? They were sent into the world. They weren't simply taking care of themselves. They were sent out as Christian people into a world with a love of a God whose suffering love was for all people, a love that is sent out for the sake of others in need. Finally, what's the last thing we can do to help instill in those around us and our teenagers faith? I think we need to dream bigger dreams, to be honest. We need to dream bigger dreams for them and what faith can do for them in their life. We need a faith that takes risks, if you will. You see, here's what I know. Christ loved us so much, he went to the cross for us. I think we can invest more time, more energy, more love, more resources in making sure that our kids hear that countercultural message of God's love. That they see themselves as part of a community who sees its job as to join with Christ to right a capsized world. A world that has, for whatever reason, gone upside down. You see, we have a God who has that kind of love and sends us into the world with a sort of love that can just maybe change the world. You see, I think, folks, what we need to dream bigger dreams for our kids. We need to connect faith with taking risks for the sake of others. Folks, thanks for tuning in this week as we've talked about that book, Almost Christian, and how it is we pass on a faith, not just to teenagers, but to the people we love around us. Folks, thanks for tuning in. Have a great one.
In my wrestling, and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled